Paralandra is a great young rock band out of Springfield, Missouri. They're swinging through Texas on tour. I have drummer Nick Gray on the phone right now. Nick, what is up?
Not much, actually, right now. It's kind of nice. Getting ready to head down your way. So I'm looking forward to Texas weather for sure.
Absolutely.
70s is 80s, my kind of weather. So
that's it, man. I know it's hard to disassociate yourself from the band, really, but if I had never, ever heard this band, how would you describe Paralandra?
Definitely high energy, melodic, just good rock and roll band. I actually wouldn't say rock and roll. I'd say hard rock. We're in the vein of Hailstorm, Evanescence, that kind of vein. We get that a lot. So just, upbeat rock and roll music. So, yeah.
There are so many kind of interesting dynamics within this band. Of course, you have a father-daughter thing with Cassandra Carson on vocals, her dad Paul on lead guitar. But also, I mean, there's a big age gap between Paul and the rest of the band. Has it ever been hard to relate to Paul as being like one of the guys when you know him originally as Cassandra's dad?
We get that question a lot, and really he fits in fine. I mean, it's not a weird vibe or anything. I can understand how, the father-daughter thing, some people on the outside might be like, well, does that hold you back at all, or, X, Y, or Z, but it really doesn't. I mean, Paul and Cassandra, they're like best of friends, and for the rest of us in the band, he's just one of the guys for sure. I mean, and we honestly I know there might be an age little difference, but he doesn't look like it. He doesn't play, and he's freaking amazing. He's been around for as long as I've been alive. So, but I mean, it's really cool. It works somehow. And I think the family kind of dynamic makes our band that much better, and people seem to think it's cool. So it's a fun little backstory too.
I read that you and Cassandra also knew each other in high school. How did you come to the band? Did you contact them? Did they contact you? How did that all work out?
Well, yeah, we were on the same track team in the same high school, and I went ahead and went to college 4 years on a running scholarship. That's what I was focused on at the time. So, yeah, and then I went to college right after high school. At literally my last of college, Cassandra approached me down at the track. I was practicing. And she was actually in a cover band at the time. They were playing at my college, and she saw me out at the track, and we caught up a little bit. And she was like, "Well, I'm in this cover band. I don't really like doing it, but I want to start an original band." And at the time, after graduation, I was going to move to Nashville,
oh, wow.
or at least try to get a go at it. But I ended up, let's try this opportunity first. So I ended up going over to their house and rehearsing, practicing some of their songs that they had, and just immediately started going to town, just writing and saying, hey, what if we tried this? What if we, did this and that? And they liked my ideas, and it was a good team right off the bat.
You guys are from Missouri. Tell me a little bit about the scene out there.
Yeah, Missouri. Some people call it Missouri.
Right.
Or Missouri. We get Missouri a lot. I hate that, but
yeah.
But I mean, yeah, the scene's good. It's nothing like New York, LA, or Nashville, but it's mainly a lot of cover bands around here, to be honest. It's hard, not impossible, but it's harder definitely for an original band to get some traction. We were lucky because I went to school and studied advertising and marketing, and I like to do that, so I kind of head that up. And Paul, is our money guy, and, we all have kind of our little jobs within the band, and we just really got lucky, and we just went to town and started working hard. But I mean, it's literally like a job, but it's a fun job,
Why is it? It seems like always drummers end up like the businessman. How come the drummer is always the businessman?
Oh, I don't know. I think just because we're the leaders that don't get the credit. You know what I'm saying? Me and Paul are we hold that down, and Paul and Cassandra are the main songwriters, and I'm kind of the arranger person, and then Sawyer, our bassist, fills in all the gaps, and it works in some weird kind of way. Yeah. So we got lucky.
You guys have a new EP out called All Fall Down. What is your favorite song on the EP?
I mean, it's self-titled off of our single. Like, All Fall Down is our actual track, like our single that we're pushing right now. I would say my personal favorite. It's kind of hard. That's always a hard question. I would say the one that for me has the most sentimental value, because that's what I like in songs.
Sure.
I mean, granted, I'm a hard rock and heavy metal guy, so I like the rockin' stuff too. So off the EP, that'd be Fortunate Ones and All Fall Down are my rockin' favorites. But in terms of like the one that has the most substance for me, is the song called Gravity, and it's kind of it's a slower, I don't know if I'd say it's a ballad, but it's definitely our slower rock song, I guess. But yeah, I mean, the story on that is we were at a bar, and when we were getting started, that was about 3 years ago. It was pretty early in our band, but there was this couple, and they were getting, I think they have already filed for divorce or something.
Oh, wow.
And they came, and they're about ready to give up on their marriage. And they actually came to our show. They didn't plan it. They just ended up at the same show, and they saw each other again. And, you know, as the night went on, I don't think alcohol was involved, but maybe that helped them, you know, kind of start dancing and loosen up to one another. And, you know, before the night was over, they were dancing. And they told us after the show that that song, Gravity, it played a big role in them getting back together. So that's the goal, you know. But I mean, it was really cool for that to happen, and that kind of spawned the rest of the song called Gravity, and we kind of made it their little story. So, but yeah,
super cool.
I like that one.
You know, here in the last several years, it's become really popular to make an EP, and even the bigger bands are choosing to skip the full-length album, put an EP out. Why do you think the EP has become such a popular format for new releases?
Well, for us, and we're not big by any means, but if you are big, you know, it depends on what kind of budgeting I would say that's behind you in some ways. And that for us, like a band that isn't, we're totally independent, and we're going to remain independent as long as we can. Sure. It comes down to like a budgeting thing. So for us, it's like, well, do we want to really blow our budget on a full EP, or could we just keep the goods in our back pocket, so to speak, and, you know, put out a little bit here, test that, put out a little bit more, test that. And I mean, that's kind of where we're at. And then we're kind of on the verge of, you know, we're getting shopped for, you know, the whole label thing, you know, for what it's worth, and just getting ourselves out there. And if something comes our way during that time, we might explore a full length album. We might do another EP. I don't really know. I just think it's kind of a way to just get out there, but, you know, not really put all your goods out there, you know. I mean, that's where we're at right now. That doesn't speak for every other band out there, but that's kind of where we're at. It does kind of come down to a budgeting thing too, but
yeah, like I know even Gene Simmons, who of course is like the ultimate, you know, guy out there selling shit. He's even said, you know, that the full length album, it doesn't make financial sense anymore. And a lot of bands, I mean, you're only getting paid from your live shows, your merch sales and stuff like that. You could make maybe even like a full-length album's worth of songs and release a couple of EPs, and it gives you 2 tours out of that.
Yeah, I mean, the possibilities of, you know, being an independent musician today are pretty much endless. There's a lot of ways to approach it. It's going to be different for, you know, every band. They're probably going to have a different way. They might I know a few bands that are growing right now they just dump their money straight into their promotions. And I mean, that's one thing you can do. You can spread it out. You can get an RV. You can, you know, the possibilities are endless. But for us, that's where we're at with the whole EP thing.
I heard you play many instruments. In a perfect world, what is your instrument of choice?
Well, it's drums. Rhythm, I would say. Anything with rhythm. Bass would probably be my second choice, but rhythm was always, and even rhythm guitar for that matter, is like a close second, I would say. I just always had a knack for the rhythm section. It was just always ingrained within me, and that was my foundation. You know, a little background on me. I started out on guitar when I'm only 26 now.
Right.
I'm still young, but I started playing music when I was about in 8th grade, so I was about 13 or so, and I started out with guitar. I learned the basic chords and whatnot, and I got bored with that pretty quick.
Right.
And then I went to bass, which is single notes and rhythm, and I really like that because of the rhythm aspect of it. And then I went to drums after that, which is basically all rhythm. Then I slowly went back around, got bored of all that, and then went back around to guitar again and learned lead, which is, you know, I learned a little bit, not too much. But and then it's all pretty related. Is what I'm
absolutely.
trying to say. I just always liked the drums. I thought it was the coolest thing for me that you could beat the living crap out of something and still make music. You can't really, you know what I mean? You can't do that with, well, I guess you could, but it'd be really expensive really fast because you break it in half, but, you know.
Right. The band is Paralandra.
Yeah.
Come celebrate your Irish heritage with them down on the Mexican border in Laredo, Texas, at the Cold Brew Rock Bar on St. Paddy's Day, Friday night. Nick, thank you so much for being on.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Look forward to seeing you guys and giving you a good rock show.